All right, day something out of something for the prep for the powerlifting meet. Today I will be doing some squats, and just like the bench press I went over on Monday, I will be not doing a deload, but doing significantly less weight. Well, actually not significantly. Just a little bit less weight than I normally would do. I'll probably go up to about 75% ish of my training max and just do like some sets of 6, maybe 8, depending on how it feels. My back is still pretty worn out from the deadlifting I did on Sunday, where I went up to about 545 and burnt out for a set of 3. Which really took it out of me. And then on top of that, just even working up to that, heavy singles at 495. I guess that was the only heavy single, but yeah, 545 for 3, it crushed me. So now my back is, it's not in horrible shape, but it's not 100%, that's for sure. So I'm going to be a little bit careful with my squats today so that on Sunday when I deadlift again, I'll be able to, I'll be using lighter weight on Sunday as well. I'm gonna think about it, but either way, I'm gonna go a little bit lighter today and just make sure that, one, I need to focus on my technique. So last week I essentially maxed out, or at least what I thought was a max out in squats. I worked up to 405. And then looking back on it, I think this is a common occurrence. I know it's not just me, but mentally that felt like I was giving it literally everything I have. And then I watched the video back and objectively, if someone else showed me that video of them and they were, putting the rep was going at the same speed as the one that I did at 405, I would probably say that person has, bare minimum, another rep, maybe even 2, maybe even 3, maybe 4 reps, but at least 2 and almost probably definitely 3. Meanwhile, mentally, that shit was brutal. So squatting is just like that. I don't know, but I know I definitely need to focus on my form. My form is not the greatest at the moment, which is kind of good and bad, because I want my numbers to go up significantly, obviously, before the meet. And having bad form is just kind of low-hanging fruit. But I guess with squatting, with other workouts, it's kind of low-hanging fruit. With squatting, I would say it's medium hanging fruit, and it might even be high hanging fruit, because that shit is hard to find sometimes. Fixing your technique, it's cool to say, yeah, brace your core, push your feet out a little bit more, whatever, go have less depth, have more depth, etc. There's so many things that you can just say about squatting, but it's really hard to execute. And sometimes it's something that works for someone else does not work for the next guy or gal. So for squatting, it's really more medium hanging fruit, but at least I know it's there. And at least I know there is weight to be found simply by fixing my form. For example, using a different workout that's a little bit more cut and dry. If someone came up to me and they were benching 150 pounds and they said, David, I want to get my max up to 200 in the next couple of months. Well, my gut would tell me that that's basically impossible to add 50 pounds to your bench press in 2 months. It's just not realistic. But if I went to the gym with that person and they sat and they got onto the bench press and their grip was like this and they were 4 inches apart, well, now immediately day 1 we space out that grip by 1.5 foot or whatever, and that's probably going to be 30 pounds right there. So now like now we're on to something. So having, questionable squat technique right now is kind of good and bad, because obviously I don't want to hurt myself. I want to be able to do more weight, but it's good because I know I will be able to have large jumps in my squat weight if I can fix X, Y, and Z. I think the biggest thing for me right now is my posture and bracing, which is probably, I think bracing is probably a big thing for a lot of people. So a lot of people don't even know, a lot of people think they're bracing and they're not. It's really hard. Like there are times where I've been like that. I thought I was bracing really well, and then one day something just clicks and it happens, and then you're like, oh, okay, so I wasn't doing shit this entire time. Like, that's what it should feel like. And then with my posture, I think I'm just kind of, a lot of people think of like having a straight back, and then instead of having a back that's actually straight, they like try to overcorrect it and kind of arch their back, which is no longer straight, especially like the lower back. So I want to focus on kind of keeping my pelvis in a little bit, and kind of keeping that tension in my core throughout the entire rep. And I think at my best, when squats felt the best, I was able to kind of just envision the bar moving in a very straight path, and I could tuck my pelvis and kind of like get into it. And so that's going to be the number one thing I'm focusing on, as well as kind of just even where the bar placement is. It's a little bit tougher at the moment with my shoulder not being quite as flexible as it used to be pre-dislocation, but I think we'll figure something out. Yeah, and then aside from that, accessories, calf raises, which I don't know what the fuck's happening. I don't know if it's a midlife crisis, but something's been telling me to work out my calves lately. It's not something I ever did. It's not something I particularly enjoy, so I don't know that I'm going to continue doing that forever, but throwing in 4 sets of calf raises a couple times a week, it's almost just like, honestly, it's almost like a break before I do other workouts. So like I'll get done squatting, and if the leg extension machine's open, I'm just gonna go to it, because like if it's open, you gotta take advantage. But say it's not open, then I'm like, okay, let me do some calf raises real quick. Or if I'm just exhausted from other workouts and I don't want to jump right into another really tough workout, I'll just do some calf raises. So, and I'm hitting them like seriously. I'm not just kind of BSing it, but there's only so hard a calf raise can be, at least in terms of like actually taxing your central nervous system and stuff. So I've been doing that. Quad extensions, because I just want to work on my quads. And then I've been kind of split on hamstring work, because I'm deadlifting so much. And I know like a powerlifting style conventional deadlift isn't going to hit the hamstrings that much. But like, damn, I feel like they should be getting hit enough, Now, if I was a bodybuilder or talking to someone that was, planning on being a bodybuilder, like, of course you got to do more hamstring stuff, and you probably don't even want to do deadlifts. You probably want to focus more on RDLs or something like that. But since I'm not that, I just want to look pretty good. I feel like deadlifting is almost enough, but I have been working on some hamstring curls just in case. I haven't started pushing it that hard on it yet, because I don't want to have sore hamstrings, because I feel like that of all things will hinder my squat and deadlifting performance the most. But I want to keep adding them in, and as long as I can recover quick enough from them, then I want to keep adding them in and just add some additional volume to my leg training. So yeah, that's a summary of what I'm thinking is going to happen today. It is now 3:10. I'm just about done with work. And so I ought to be leaving soon. I feel like I don't feel super pumped though, you know. I might need to watch some more anime or something. I might need to watch another episode of Hunter x Hunter. Drink some black tea. You know, just all the hardcore things. All the things that hardcore people do. Drink tea and watch anime. I mean, what else is there to say? And then probably play with my cat too. Pause. But Zelda's looking like she's going down for a nap, so she might be the opposite of hype right now. But yeah, I think that's all I got. I will record the sets of squats for sure, and then I will be doing some good mornings after that, so I'll record those as well. And then after that, who knows? I don't like recording leg extensions and hamstring curls is a little awkward, but we'll see. As long as I can get the squats and the good mornings in, I'll feel pretty good about that. And then come back and just get a recap of what happened and see how it went, man. Fingers crossed. Peace. Not the greatest session, we're gonna be honest. I warmed up, I thought I warmed up well. Did a couple sets and then did a set of 275 for 6, went up to 315 for another 6. And then that felt pretty good. Things were moving pretty smoothly. And then I wanted to do a couple more sets at 315 for 6. Like didn't feel that hard, honestly. Unracked it. I don't know if I'm going to include this in the video or not. I probably will. Why not? Did 2 reps, and on that second rep, my back just went tweak, and that's that. That was that. Except that was not that. And this is where I fucked up, because my back went tweak. I stopped that set, racked the weight, and was like, oh man, like I knew something was wrong. But you know, sometimes there's like this fine line between a legitimate issue and being a bitch. They're like this far apart from each other. And I never want to be on that side of you're a bitch. So if there's ever a doubt in my mind, I'm just going to go for it. And honestly, this time I basically knew I was hurt. I mean, hurt is probably strong, but like I knew this was probably not a good idea, but I was like, maybe I'll just get away with it. I knew it wasn't a good idea. God damn it. But I thought maybe I'll get away with it. I was like, this is my last set. I can just do one more. I can be very careful. I'll tighten my belt and maybe it won't hurt, or maybe it won't get any worse. And then I can just go on about my day and, whatever. Nope. I did that last set. I got the 6 reps. I mean, sort of. You can see like they're not, maybe 2 of them were at depth. I'm not even sure about that. They were all like a couple, at least most of them were like a couple inches away from being at depth, because I was just, my back was hurting and I was trying to protect it, but there was no protecting it. Once I racked that bar at the end of the set, like my shit was fried. I was doing one of them old like unk at the barbecue walks where I'm holding my shit, my butt's poking out, I could barely walk. I tightened the belt. This is the ultimate old head move. I always take my belt off after every set. I put my fucking belt back on so I can unload the weights from the barbell. That's how messed up my back was. I was like, I can't fathom taking the weight off of the bar and then putting it onto the little holders on the side of the squat rack without a belt. Like it was that critical. So I put my belt on. I considered keeping it on just to walk around the gym, but I was like, I can't do this. I can't do it. Maybe if it was during COVID and I had a mask on or something, but no. Bare face walking around with a mask. No, can't do it. So anyways, Sunday deadlifts are definitely in jeopardy. I would say the smart decision will probably just to rule them out right now, because there's a chance I'll warm up and feel pretty good and then fuck it up even more, but I'm not ruling it out. I'm not gonna rule it out. We're gonna see. Once my back kind of like feels better than it did initially, I'm kind of nervous. Once I cool down, you never know. This thing might flare up bad, so we'll see. I'm gonna get a good lift in tomorrow, hopefully, and we'll just have to see about deadlifting. I don't know. I don't fucking know. These are the challenges of being a aspiring powerlifter over the age of 30, But that's just how it goes. All right. See you tomorrow. Peace.